This is Bill Bruford on New Visions on VH1, and that was Lark's Tongues in Aspic, played by King Crimson in Germany about 100 years ago. It's actually 1987 now, and this is a beautiful acoustic drum set. So that's the acoustic drum set that I've known and loved and grown up with. In fact, people often ask me why it is that drummers play the kinds of things they do play. And a couple of years back, I made a videotape which gives you some inkling of the kind of contribution that a drummer should put forward to a group, or the kind of things that I like to do. Maybe we could look at that now. We have the videotape with us. It's called Bruford and the Beat. As you can see from the videotape, things have got already considerably more elaborate than the drum set you see in front of you here. On the videotape, we had a hybrid drum set, part acoustic and part electronic. In fact, my contribution to the new Earthworks album is already totally electronic. Acoustic cymbals and sometimes snare drum, but the mass of the drum information now is from Simmons electronics, which allow me to store pitches, play chords, and do all that kind of stuff, which is very exciting and a lot of fun. Stay tuned. Shortly we have one of America's brightest young guitarists, David Torn. My name is still Bill Bruford. We are still on New Visions on VH1, and we have just heard and seen On the Threshold of Liberty by the Californian trumpet player and keyboard player Mark Isham. There's a family connection here. Both Isham and myself and my new accomplice here, David Torn, we're on the road in Germany. The great thing about Californians is they play keyboards well and they play trumpet well. They're not so good at driving Mercedes-Benz.
On ice.
On ice. Don't ever ask your Californian friends to drive on ice. Somehow we managed to put an awfully ugly face on the front of that Mercedes-Benz within about 24 hours of being there. So tell me, David.
Sir.
Why do I like your guitar playing so much?
As I've said many times, you like my playing because it's very vague sounding.
Yes, but it also has that
direct sound.
And how did you get me to be in your band?
I wrote you an incredibly charming letter, which you responded to immediately.
Yes, I know this must have been a mistake. I don't know. I don't usually do this stuff.
Describing.
Don't get excited, viewers. We don't do a lot of this thing, you know.
Well, I had to hunt and peck to find your
yeah, he told me this incredibly inflated resume about who you played with. And
I lied.
Yeah, you lied. And we made an album. How did you get me to play on the album?
How do you mean, how did I get you to play?
Well, it wasn't the money, I'll tell you that.
That's exactly right.
The actual thing in question is this, David Torn. You'll notice his name is very big here at the top. And as we progress further down, you'll see my name here, which is about half as big. And for some peculiar reason, I don't know, percussionist, it's orchestral order, you know, in order that musicians don't fight too much. Somehow we separate them out like this. The band leader's at the top and the drummers at the bottom. This is why I'm a band leader. This is why I'm a band leader.
On your record, does your name?
Oh, on my record, Earthworks, it's absolutely very big at the top.
Did you even bother to put the other musicians' names on the front cover?
I'm a nice guy. I put their names on the front too.
Just checking.
So in about 15 minutes, we'll have some music from David, which no doubt is going to sound something like this. America. That was another one of my erstwhile guitar-playing friends, Adrian Ballou, and a little tune of his called Big Electric Cat. Now, I think I'm going to not be responsible for the next section because David Torn's going to play his guitar. That was Up North, the cut from my shortly-to-be-released Earthworks album, which looks a whole lot like that. If you like the look of unfinished album art sleeve work, this is a first, folks. So when we say British jazz, I know it probably means very little to you folks in America. Obviously, you are the originators of a wonderful art form. But I think all of us over there in Europe would feel that the art form has reached sufficient maturity to be able to be grabbed by Europeans too, and to add a little local color to the thing. So obviously now you can have jazz from Moscow, you can have Norwegian jazz in the shape of Jan Garbarek, you can have British jazz in the shape of things like Earthworks, which, as you can probably tell from that cut, really are not hinged on quite the same desires in music as the American flavor of jazz is. Up north particularly, up north of England, collieries, brass bands, very strong brass band flavor in that particular cut. So there's also a leaning towards folk music in the jazz sense in Europe. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you for a little while here on VH1, on New Visions. I hope I've been able to entertain you with some of my friends, some of my guests, and be able to update you a little bit on some of the many projects that are in the pipeline. I know to you it often seems that we're just in groups, you know, kind of he's in group A and he's in group B, but in fact, a lot of the musicians know each other very well, and we're more a large group of musicians, I think, from London, New York, and Los Angeles, really. Many of whom play together, and a lot of whom like each other's work and are happy to play with each other. So many thanks for having me. I have enjoyed myself very much and would like to leave you with a final cut from the new Earthworks album. This is My Heart Declares a Holiday. Bye.